certain global ambassador sings, "Just hold on, we're going home." And while it took a lot longer than I think some of us expected, 584 days to be exact, they are back. There's Fred VanVleet in the building, playing at Scotiabank Arena in front of their home crowd fans. That guy already an instant fan favorite around these parts as they get set to take on the Philadelphia 76ers in preseason action. The fans ready to go. Welcome to Tangerine Raptors basketball on Sportsnet. I'm Danielle Michaud, and considering what the last 19 months have held for all of us, it's almost emotional being in here. There's an energy and a vibe as the Raptors get back on this home hardwood, and while it is the era of no longer having Kyle Lowry on the squad, there's a lot to be excited about, including the first Raptors top 5 draft pick since 2011. And to speak on Scottie Barnes, here's two other fan favorites around these parts, Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams. Guys?
All right, Danielle, it is great to be courtside, especially with Raptor legend. 417 games as a Toronto Raptor. Alvin Williams, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Back, training camp, preseason. I'm still nervous all over again.
You're not that nervous. Let me tell you what, he can still go out there and play. We know that. Now look at Scottie Barnes. When you think about the 4th overall pick, Alvin, he can do a lot.
He can do a lot, and he's somebody who has the potential to be very, very special in this game. The thing about Scottie, he's very versatile. He brings the energy. He's athletic, so he fits right into Nick Nurse's system. The system is everybody can create. He has the ability to take the ball to the basket. But you see right here, he can block shots. He can defend the basket. He can create his own shot. Got a nice little mid-range touch, and he has the ability to have the aggressiveness to finish at the basket. And also on the swing, if he's able to knock that three-point down consistently, lights out. Watch out for Scottie Barnes.
Now, no question about that. We saw the development in the three-point shot, Alvin, with Pascal Siakam. They certainly expect that with Scottie Barnes. We cannot wait. Ball goes up in the air. Basketball back in TO as we send it to Brad and Javon.
Indeed, Matt. We're as excited as you are. You can hear the crowd behind us. 3rd straight summer, Javon, that the Raptors lost a big piece of that championship team, but they are well positioned to withstand the loss of Kyle Lowry because of the guy that steps in after being the understudy.
And that's Fred. Fred, he's a natural leader, and I think that's where he's going to step up for this team. He's going to be vocal. He's already been that guy. He's been the guy in training camp to chew guys out. Over the summer, he's chewed guys out as well if they weren't pulling their weight. I think, where he's concerned, he just has to step in and do what he knows, how he's played. He's been here before. He's led this team to a G League championship in 2017, and he was a natural leader at Wichita State. So he's been here before.
OG Anunoby is a guy that needs to take the next step, and maybe when Raptors fans talk about needing a trade for a superstar, they might have one in the making in number 3.
OG, if you look at it, he's coming off a career season last year. If I'm OG, I'm looking at my teammates, I'm looking at the coaches, and I'm saying, get me the basketball. Why? Because he's earned it. He's been the most efficient player on the floor at all times. He can penetrate, he can do a number of things. He can create offense from his defense. And again, if you look at it, Kyle Lowry is gone. There's 13 more shots to be distributed across this team, and he's got to be the one. He's got to look at the coach and say, I take this challenge, I want this challenge. Fred and Pascal are going to demand a lot of attention. He's got to be the one to continue doing what he's doing at a high efficiency rate.
Scoring average went up 5 points last year, and a jump like that would be nice this year for the Raptors. Danielle Michaud.
Yeah, Brad, OG, a chatty guy these days, a lot more than usual, but as you said, needs to take a step up with this team, so whatever that takes. This arena getting really loud. I would imagine that Danny Green is pretty excited to be back in front of some fans that might recognize his face, but if you can believe it, he's still got to wait to get that 2019 championship ring. They're going to wait till this place is jam-packed before they deliver that to him and give him that moment. We'll get you set for tip-off when Raptors basketball on Sportsnet returns.
Feels great here on this Monday night to get the preseason underway for the 2021-2022 season. Fans in attendance, Scottie Barnes taking the floor, and Fred VanVleet, the appreciation of being back in Toronto.
And definitely, I understand what he's talking about. Toronto's one of those places, me coming from Philadelphia, never lived anywhere other than Philadelphia until I got to Toronto for that long of a time. And the fans, the culture, the city, the country, it's just something that you don't realize you miss it until you don't have it any longer.
The starting lineups here in this preseason. contest between Philadelphia and Toronto. The Raptors will play a full 6 games in the preseason. Philadelphia, they're going to play 4 games, right? One of the reasons why for the Toronto Raptors, because a lot of new faces. Fred VanVleet, Goran Dragic, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, and Precious Achiuwa. The Philadelphia 76ers had the best record in the Eastern Conference last season. However, they lost in the second round. Speaking of new faces, great to see former Miami Hurricane standout Amy Audibert. Amy?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I am thrilled to be with the Sportsnet team this season. You know who else is really happy to be with his team is Goran Dragic. Now, we all know there were some awkward moments in this past summer while he was home in Slovenia. He did an interview. It was taken out of context. Quite frankly, this organization, they have moved past it. And this is all about leadership. I spoke to Goran about it today, stepping into a role, immediately providing leadership to a fairly young squad. And he said at his point in his career, it's his job. And while he did it for 2 seasons at Miami, so it's nothing new. He feels like one of his biggest impacts can be simply being a vocal voice and communicating through hectic moments. And worth noting, guys, he's taken a liking to Scotty Barnes. Every time someone asks him about Scotty, first thing Goran does, huge smile on his face. He says he's got a very unique personality, and he's really impressed with his work ethic. Matt?
And Goran Dragic, the veteran, coming in his 14th season. Precious Achiuwa, a part of that deal in the sign and trade with Kyle Lowry.
We've talked about Precious a lot, and we're both excited to see what he can do. Anytime he got his opportunity in Miami, he excelled. Showed the energy, showed the athleticism. Very excited to see what he's going to do for the Raptors.
Danny Green heading over, the former Toronto Raptor, embracing Nick Nurse. And Pascal Siakam, we are set for basketball. Kyle Lowry, now a member of the Miami Heat. Precious Achiuwa to jump center with Andre Drummond, and Tyrese Maxey in his 2nd season out of Kentucky sends it on the inside and knocked away. Drummond getting it back is George Niang, who signed in the offseason with Philadelphia, spent 4 seasons in Utah. Here's Seth Curry. Curry unable to turn the corner. Maxey in the corner. Danny Green with a 3 that doesn't go.
And you see the activity from the Raptors defensively right there. Getting hands on the ball. Precious Achiuwa with a good deflection at the beginning.
Fred VanVleet with a turnover. And Niang shot doesn't go. And Achiuwa now will bring it up. He'll initiate the offense very much like Pascal Siakam. Nick Nurse saying big save, bring it up. You get the rebound, go get it.
That's a liberty that the Raptors have a good opportunity because they have multiple players. He can do exactly that, bring the ball up. That allows Freddie and other players to get out and transition and get easier opportunities.
Nick Nurse in his 4th season guiding the Toronto Raptors, but of course you know March 9th, last game that the Raptors played before the stoppage. Then you had the bubble, and then of course last season in Tampa, first game since February 28th of 2020 held here at Scotiabank Arena for basketball. Batted up, and it squirts out to Maxey, and Maxey able to get the runner to go.
Tyrese Maxey is someone that's going to really help this 76ers team. He's a person that can score, showed a lot of energy and promise last year, even in the playoffs in those 2 series.
This is kind of starting like a preseason game, right? A couple of turnovers, some missed shots.
A lot of missed shots, a lot of nerves, a lot of people not comfortable with one another right now.
As a player coming into a game like this evening, preseason, first time out, what are some of the things going through your emotions early on?
Well, your emotions are high. You try to tell yourself to settle down, but the thing you have to realize, especially as a young player, you do not want to try to play a perfect game because there's no perfect basketball game. So you just got to do what you can do, fit the system, and just play hard first and foremost.
OG Anunoby. OG down low. Great cut by Goran Dragic. How about Barnes with the eyes, and he finds Dragic on the cut.
Great cut by Dragic right there. And
Precious Achiuwa. And they're going to call it on Fred VanVleet, the foul, and Drummond will head to the line.
Scotty Barnes right there. You see him in a post. eyes open, find the cutter. The great Wayne Embry told me one thing you can do be a good offensive player is to learn how to pass first. That's the way you keep the defense honest.
And that's something that Scotty Barnes, we have seen that, the ability to distribute. And at his size, the ability also to see over top the defense. Here he is up top. Dribble handoff for Van Vliet. Attacking Curry on a kick out. Barnes a three. Doesn't go short, and Curry with a rebound. You want Barnes to take as many as those as he can, certainly in the preseason.
Well, he has to take those shots because that's the way the NBA is, and that's how he's going to open up the game for the rest of the team.
Curry finds Danny Green. Drummond on the inside, and count it, and a foul. Now, this is a team, Philadelphia, they're big. You have Andre Drummond, Joel Embiid. There is some size there in the middle.
You see Andre Drummond using his size. We saw last year when Andre Drummond was with the Lakers, they used his size, and that's the one challenge that the Raptors had, the size, the bulk inside, to stop those bigger offensive players for their opponents.
Drummond, able to get the free throw, was bought out in Cleveland, signed in Los Angeles. Lakers didn't go as far as they wanted to. It was Phoenix and Milwaukee. Van Vliet on a kick out. Here's OG, the three. Got it, OG Anunoby from right here in Toronto with a three.
And it starts with the penetration. Fred doing a great job penetrating the defense, finding an open man. OG's ready to knock it down.
Turnover, Barnes. Barnes now quickly into the front court to Van Vliet, the three. Got it from North York.
And that's what we talked about, Matt. When you have someone like Scotty who can dribble the ball up and Fred doesn't have that responsibility, he can find open spots for three-point shots and the opportunity to half-court offense or in transition.
Yeah, this is a team, I think, Alvin, that, and they have in the past under Nick Nurse, and even prior to that with Dwayne Casey, live off of that defense, right? From an offensive standpoint, get out and go.
Because when you have challenges offensively, you have to find easier ways. Transition is one of them.
Achua back over to Van Vliet, tied at 8. Under 8 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. Van Vliet with it. Off balance, and great job of getting inside and figuring it out, and then just a little bit of probing and comes back and knocks it down.
That's exactly what it was. He probed and took his time.
Maxey in and out. Van Vliet with a rebound.
Now you get out and run. Opportunities right here.
Looking for Scotty down low. Instead now takes it into the middle of the paint. And Van Vliet is fouled.
You look at the opportunity for your offenses. You see right here, let's get it on defense. And you see Scotty with a defensive steal, get Fred Van Vliet out in the open. And we mentioned that when you have Scotty who can dribble the basketball and you don't need a guard to come back and get it, that'll give Scotty and that'll give the rest of the team opportunities offensively.
And Van Vliet, when he came out onto the floor for the layup line, he kind of, whoa. Don't start, everyone. Don't start. I want to be the first one, right? A couple of guys already snuck to the bucket. No. I'm going to be the first in the layup line, right? I'm here. I'm back home. Yeah. I want to get that feeling of the layup line of being the first one to lay it up and through.
Preseason, you have to get, your routine together. What are we going to do to start it? What music we're going to listen to? What handshakes we're going to make? All of this stuff is the preseason routine, getting sharp.
Good job by Niang on the Barnes, and a jump ball is called. Raptors lead by 2. Philadelphia 3 of 10 from the field. Raptors 4 of 6.
Barnes going in against 2 defenders. Great defense right there tying it up. But you want to see the young fella be aggressive. You don't want him to be hesitant at all. Being aggressive, using your size and athleticism. Good opportunity right there.
Barnes bats it toward OG Anunoby. However, it's out of bounds. And we have a timeout. Doc Rivers in his second season as a head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Just great to have basketball. Masai Ujiri in the offseason re-signed a multi-year contract with the Toronto Raptors, the vice chair and president of the Toronto Raptors. And of course, he was the integral piece in bringing in Kawhi Leonard and ultimately the Toronto Raptors winning the 2019 title, guiding them to 7 playoff appearances, 9 series wins, and of course a conference title. Ultimately, as I mentioned, the NBA title. And this has a little bit of a different look from the last couple of years. I know last year Tampa, that's one of those that I think in the record books you just kind of put aside, Alvin, right? And it's a team that has 4 players that have played here in Toronto before. And then you bring in Precious Achiuwa, Scotty Barnes. There's some excitement with that.
No, I hate saying it because you're playing against the Sixers. It's a process. It's ups, downs, but the rebuilding piece, and this is not even rebuilding. This is just tooling, retweaking a bit. And now you have young players that's going to add and just continue to get better. And be careful because this is a young, exciting team that I expect a lot from.
Korkmaz back out on the court for the Philadelphia 76ers. Shot clock at 7. Drummond to Korkmaz. He could shoot the 3 off the bounce, trying to get around Barnes. Counted. And the foul.
Korkmaz is a talented offensive player. He's not bashful at all. He hasn't seen a shot that he doesn't like. And Scotty, just stay in your stance right there. Stay in your stance. And then at the end of the day, contest that shot. Always use your length. Always use your advantages when you're on that basketball court.
Matisse Thybulle on the floor. Shake Milton checking in. Farkan Korkmaz. And Precious Achiuwa getting up and bringing that down.
Yeah, he's a beast. Everything he does is with aggression.
Here's Dragic backing in on Curry. Spinning. A nice crafty move, but that one rattles out. Curry leaves it to Milton. Here's Drummond up top. Guarded by Achiuwa, the cut. Curry.
That was good action for the Sixers. Had the weak side occupied where OG could not help with that curl pass to the basket. Great execution by the Sixers.
Here's OG Anunoby with a jumper over Thybulle that doesn't go. And Curry now will bring it into the front court. And Curry getting deep into the paint. And the Raptors coming out of their timeout. Down by 4 now. Barnes will kick it over to Achiuwa. On a handoff for Van Vliet, using the screen at the elbow, keeps Milton on the hip, and then Thybulle comes over to help. OG nearly takes it back. Curry, the corner 3 that doesn't go. Barnes quickly. And OG take it away again. Another turnover. It's preseason. Curry up top. Korkmaz a slam dunk.
It's preseason.
Did I say it's preseason?
It's preseason for everyone. You gotta preface that. Dragic did a great job running the wing last possession. He was wide open. OG just missed him.
Dragic on the inside and a reach-in foul on Andre Drummond with 4:49 remaining here in this first quarter.
Sixers are getting a little action off the defense on their own. Little offense. Alley-oop play. Nice stop down on the defensive end. Got out of transition. In order to get your offense rolling, you got to limit your turnovers. You can't give any of these turnovers over. You can't waste the possessions at all.
Wholesale changes here for the Toronto Raptors. Freddie Gillespie checking in. Svi Mykhailiuk and Yuta Watanabe. He was with the Raptors last season in Tampa, as was Freddie Gillespie. Mykhailiuk, a season ago, spent time in Detroit as well as Oklahoma City. Can shoot the 3. OG powering his way up. No call. Nick Nurse up out of his seat. Here's Korkmaz with a 3 that's short. Drummond in a crowd. Denied by Watanabe. Denied again by Gillespie, and a foul is called.
Excellent help side defense by Yuta. That was having that reaction, his length as well. I'm not sure if you knew it. George Washington, he made Defensive Player of the Year in that conference. So he's somebody who has the instincts, but Andre Drummond doing a great job sticking with it, getting put on the line. Once again, the size is something that's going to be a challenge for the Raptors. It's going to have to be played by committee. Everyone's going to have to do their job and even have multiple efforts in order to, you know, make up for the lack of size if you're playing against the Sixers or one of these other teams with a dominant big man.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you look across the board in the Eastern Conference, you know, how many bigs, true bigs are there, right? So this is one of those teams.
Well, they have two of them with Joel Embiid.
Which would be interesting to see them both on the floor at the same time. Of course, as we know, Embiid can step out and shoot the three. Van Vliet with the three-pointer that doesn't go. And Drummond, the size on the inside, coming down with a rebound. Here's Milton. Rebounding an issue last year for the Toronto Raptors. And Raptors mixing it up, and a whistle and a foul. And one of our three officials, Ben Taylor, along with Nick Booker and Andy Nagy, are three officials here this evening in Toronto. Gillespie picks up his second.
He had a tough challenge. Andre Drummond was coming at him with a full head of steam, and he just took it on the chin. And that play did not go for him. It could have been, you know, offensive foul, but he didn't get there in enough time. So, you know, Freddie Gillespie just got to get there in enough time.
Gillespie played in the summer league with the Raptors. 5 games, struggled. Remember, you know, he was a football player turned basketball player turned Division III turned Division I. Plus, with you're a big, it just takes some time.
Oh, it's always going to take time. Bigs are sometimes the last to develop, but they have the most potential. You need somebody who shows a lot of potential as well.
And a whistle. It's an 11-0 run. They reset the shot clock. The rim was not touched by the basketball. And the Raptors have been without a bucket in 4 minutes as OG Anunoby will trigger it in. Remember, no Pascal Siakam. Gary Trent Jr. is out. Chris Boucher is out. Kem Birch is out for the Toronto Raptors. So 4 rotation players, inclusive of potentially a couple of starters for the Raptors. Not here this evening. Raptors getting back. 3:30. Milton up top. Just going to right to Drummond, and a timeout taken.
Too much penetration. You're allowing too much penetration. You see the wall there at first, but then the defense breaks down, and you've seen it from the beginning. The penetration, it leads to an alley-oop.
Submit your photos and videos, Alvin, on social media showing us how you are celebrating the Raptors' return to the court using hashtag Tangerine Fan Angle. Winners will be featured later in the broadcast, and great to see fans back in the stands. Great to be courtside. Pascal Siakam, it'll be great to see him back out on the court soon enough. And the Raptors to play here in Toronto. Siakam, Van Vliet, OG, and then Chris Boucher with 44 games. Van Vliet, Gillespie along with Anunoby. Here's Fred working with Gillespie. Has it knocked away. It'll be Raptors ball, 20 on the shot clock.
That was a good opportunity for Freddie right there. He just lost it. Good hands by the Sixers.
And it's going to be 14 on the clock as the officials go over. There's some clock issues here, so they're having a word. Ben Taylor along with Andy Nagy. Doc Rivers, a little bit of a smile there, is like, all right, you guys are trying to add a little bit of time on that shot clock. And that's what they're deciding right now, the 14 seconds. Okay, so 30-38 is when they started, so it's at 30-24, which means 10 seconds on the shot clock. We got all that situated. We're ready to roll. The cut underneath and a foul.
You see the good ball movement, not actually ball movement, body movement, going, cutting, giving Fred an outlet. Never stop moving. Great pass by Fred. Give him an opportunity to go to the line and get off the snot a little bit because they haven't been scoring much.
Svi heads to the free throw line. And And the first free throw is good in his 4th year in the NBA. Originally selected in the 2nd round by the Los Angeles Lakers. And checking in, Delano Banton.
And I like this kid. He's somebody, he's long, he's lanky. He can shoot the ball a bit. Handles the ball really well. I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
Let's send it over to Amy Audibert with more on Delano.
Crowd get hyped when Delano checked into the game. I spoke to him this morning. He said he told me not big on number superstitions, but he likes to wear ones that mean something. So where does the 45 come through, guys? It is the bus route that he took growing up as a kid. It was the Kipling 45. He took it for 30 minutes every day to and from school. He told me that it reminds him of his home and the culture that everybody helps each other out. The one area I think he's going to have a little difficulty helping out, though, is accommodating his ticket requests. He told me he's got a lot. Matt?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Well, it's great to see number 45 in a Toronto Raptor uniform, and a whistle and a foul as the Raptors make a run, and they trail by 5 with 2:35 left here in this first quarter.
And we talked about different challenges offensively, but if you can get out in transition and put pressure on the defense, as you see Freddie right there, finding you to go into the basket, those are other opportunities for your offense to be successful.
Niang at the free throw line, and Reed will check in when he gets a moment.
The Banton comes in, as you see him, great rebound, push the ball, and finds his teammates right off the bat. So he brings that energy, he brings that ability that we talked about with Scotty, having multiple people be able to handle the basketball and create for others. That's something we're going to see different than we've seen in the past with a Kyle Lowry and Kawhi or DeMar. Multiple people are going to be doing things offensively. They're going to be empowered.
Whistle and a foul there, and Raptors will go to the free throw line. It's a great point. You have that along, and it's noticeable. You and I were at practice last week during training camp, and the length right off the hop, a noticeable difference from last season and in recent time.
And when this team, they grasp the understanding of principles, the system, you're going to start seeing all of those things come together. The length, you're not just going to play off of energy. You're not going to just play off of the IQ. You're going to put all of it together. You're going to package it. And that's when the team is going to start having an identity. And that's what the other teams are going to be worried about, because this is a special team potentially.
Champagnie checks in for the Toronto Raptors. They have cut it to 4. It was a 13-0 run by Philadelphia. Korkmaz over Watanabe, and Banton comes in. Here he is pushing it quickly into the front court, down the lane, finger roll. Oh, George Gervin would be proud. Right to the rim with the finger roll. It's a 10-1 run.
So you got the Iceman. You got him, the next Iceman. You see him. We just talked about it. You can get it off the transition, push it. Everybody run. You to run. Everybody get out, put pressure on the defense. You can't stop me. I'm going to the basket and one. Count it. And that's why he can be a special player. This is why this can be a special and a unique team.
Banton started at Western Kentucky, was redshirted at Nebraska and transferred, and then spent last season at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln for Fred Hoiberg, former NBA player, as Barnes knocks it down, former head coach of the Chicago Bulls, and tied at 22 with 1:40 remaining in the first quarter. 12-run run. That energy that you talked about. It starts right here.
It comes from this defensive side. And if you can see it, if you're a fan, if you're watching, if you're at this arena, when all 5 players get back and put their wingspan out there, they cover almost the whole half court. It's going to be almost impossible for a team to get a good look when you're playing against that type of defense.
Milton driving. The help comes. And Banton with that length just swats it away.
I'm telling you, Matt, when these young guys, the chemistry develops and they start understanding, as you see, penetration, but it's never easy play. No one stops. The effort continues. And it's not going to be easy baskets when you're playing. Got caught slipping right there.
Yeah, the cut right there. Milton turns the corner.
It was a great job by Shake Milton. As soon as Banton turned his head, as you see, turns his head right there, penetration right there, boom. Turned his head, got caught watching the game. Can't watch the game. You got to see the ball and you got to see your man always have contact. But you're going to have those type of plays. Just got to realize your system is going to allow you to be successful. You can't have too many of those plays when you fall asleep.
Borkness with the free throw, 25-22. Champagnie, Justin Champagnie gives it back now to Banton. Mihailuk on a kick out. Watanabe with an open three. Got it.
Heck of a pass, penetration right there, keeping your eyes open. And Nick does a great job. You watch practice. They practice these opportunities when they penetrate and find other players.
Out at 25. And I think we have another clock issue.
Little dribble right there, dribble penetration. And that, you had an opportunity for a layup, but you have a good shot into a great shot. That's an indicator of an offense on its way. Being ready to knock the shot out, being efficient from that three-point line. We know the Raptors want to shoot those threes, but getting opportunities like that is going to help the percentages a lot.
Clock is situated 53.9, 12 seconds on the shot clock. Milton and a travel and a turnover. Philadelphia led by as many as 11. Barnes, you see Nick Nurse here directing traffic. Barnes with it, along with Watanabe, Mihailuk, Banton, and Champagnie. Barnes nearly loses it, looks up, drives, kicks. Banton, clock down, corner three, doesn't go, and a foul underneath as Thibault was boxing out Barnes.
I know it didn't look too pretty, but that's going to be something why Scotty can be special. Having the ball out top, initiating the offense, creating for others at his size. Even after that, he picked up a foul because he was under the basket with a smaller person. They had to give him a foul because he got that rebound. So he brings so many challenges against the opponent from different positions on the floor.
Second on Thibault. Barnes misses the first. Maxey checks in. Yankees and Red Sox tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on Sportsnet. Who will face the Rays in the ALDS? Tune in tomorrow. (16-4) run. Raptors by 1. It was 21-10 with 3:28 remaining. Banton, the length on Milton. Shake Milton up top, makes a move, driving, no place to go. Watanabe, lead pass, Barnes, Scotty, no, and cleaning up Mihailuk with .3 remaining. And the quarter comes to an end, an 18-4 run, all sparked with that energy that you talked about on the defensive end.
And once again, the length is there. You get a stop. Great heads up play by Yuta. Barnes.
Matt and Alvin, Scotty Barnes already electrifying the crowd and having more fun than anybody out there first 12 minutes of his NBA career.
3 points, pair of rebounds, a couple of assists, and Barnes with a slam dunk.
And that's the piece, right? Getting the ball up top, finding a smaller person, a Danny Green, taking it to the basket, slamming it home.
Green does not have his championship ring for the Toronto Raptors as of yet. Spoke to him prior to the start of the game. I said, where is it? He goes, somewhere in the back, they told me. Someplace in the back. He'll get it during the regular season matchup here, December 28th. Barnes backing in on Green. Champagnie puts it on the deck, driving. Good use there of just control as the base was cut off.
You said it right there, man. Champagnie controlled his body, getting a little bit to the baseline to avoid the charge. Excellent job.
Milton. And the three-point attempt by Reed doesn't go, and Watanabe with it. This is their largest lead. Watanabe on the take. What a read. Champagnie, no call, and now a call, and it's going to go the other way. How about this right here?
Up top, you see it right there. We talked about having the ball. Got in a little closer position where with 1 or 2 dribbles, and that's the length. That's the piece that a lot of players can't do that. One hand, never touched it with the offhand, so it didn't allow the defender to reach in and get a steal. Great job offensively by Scotty.
22-4 run. Deflected. Champagnie comes away with it. Here's Barnes, drives, kicks. Ball fake 3, no, and oh, Mihailuk flies in, handles. Banton shares, and Barnes delivers underneath. Let's get the regular season started.
It started already, no? Oh, no, this is just preseason.
That was looking good. 34-25. Shot doesn't go, and Green with it. Here's Banton pushing in the length of Barnes. Watanabe! Sweet it is!
Did you see that catch by Scotty? When you talk about the length, if you're not that long, you can't make that pass. Was going to the 3rd row. He grasped that, got it back, find Yuta. Great play, great save, but that comes from the ability of this team. Great penetration.
Scotty Barnes, an integral piece to that.
This lineup right here is showing their length, their ability to get to the basket. You see Scotty's been showing that highlight already, but he's doing a great job. Everyone getting in the paint, great interior passing, having your hands ready, and just going right up there finishing. As you're going, you want the 3-point shot, but if you soften up that butter, that toast is going to taste much better, I'm telling you. So you want to get into that paint, and then the outside will open up.
You don't have to work as hard to spread it around there, right?
Exactly.
8 points here in the second quarter, all earned in the paint. Milton gives it to Niang. Niang up fake now. The 2 from 17 feet away, and he'll drill it. And that's the first bucket for Philadelphia here in the quarter. Barnes attacking. Drummond gets a piece of it. Barnes gets it back to no look. Bucket. And the foul.
And that's straight activity by Barnes. You know, got a deflection, tried to make an interior pass, got deflected, stayed with it, got the ball back, and found Champagnie right under the basket to get an and 1.
5 assists on 5 field goals, and everything, as you mentioned, on the interior. For the Raptors, Champagnie completes a 3-point play. The Raptors lead 39-27, and so much of what they're doing starting right here on the defensive end, the lane. Another turnover. Looking ahead, Banton gathers in a 2-handed slam.
Creating your offense off of defense.
Youthful and energetic. From a defensive standpoint. And another chance to run. Mihailuk with it, looks around, finds now Champagnie on the inside and banks it in. And the Raptors are rolling, and Gary Trent Jr. loving it. And at the other end, a foul is going to be charged to Barnes.
And you see the energy, Matt. You see how it's coming. We've talked about it. If you have challenges offensively, let's get it on defense. And let's get out in transition, run, get everyone open looks.
Fast break points, 15-2. To your point about the defense and then getting out and going, and that's so much of what Nick Nurse wants to do.
And so many people think your offense comes from an X's and O's or a play draw. Your offense can come from so many ways. Defensively is something, one of the hugest parts. It's half of the game. And if you can create a percentage of that half and create offense, that's going to alleviate some of the X's and O's you have to draw out play after play after play. And that's why this team is structured so nicely, because you have multiple players who can do multiple things that can create those opportunities.
Barnes checks out. Precious Achiuwa checks in. Achua for Barnes. Here's Precious. Pull up, elbow J. And leaves it just a little bit short, but this is somebody you've talked about a lot over the course of the last week, watching him and also watching him last season as well. You like him?
I like him a lot because he's one of those players that when he gets the opportunity, he makes the most of it, and that's all you can ask for.
On the inside, the denial, and then Drummond gets it back. And Drummond just powers his way on the inside. Champagnie now into the front court. He's going to be allowed to do a little bit more with the Raptors as Mykhailiuk is fouled by Curry than it was with the Miami Heat.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get more of an opportunity. He was a rookie last year. It's a pecking order. He's playing behind Bam Adebayo, but you see right here, help defense, and if you have a player that you can rely on, if you have an insurance policy, that's all. He's always going to create value. But I'll tell you one thing, his skill set is underrated as well. He's going to show players and show other people what he can really do on this team.
Take a look at Precious Achua. A lot of 6'8" on this team. And from Nigeria, Precious Achua spent a season playing. The three-pointer is good. Achua spent a season playing at the University of Memphis for Penny Hardaway.
So you know he knows a little bit about basketball, huh?
Yeah. Penny, of course, the head coach of the Memphis Tigers, where he played collegiately before being drafted by the Orlando Magic. And a turnover. Raptors defense active.
And you see it. The Sixers are a little out of sorts because it's coming from the energy, it's coming from that length. And I know we talk about it a lot, but it's some truth behind what the Raptors are doing when it comes to that defensive side.
Banton working with Achua. Gets to the foul line. Champagnie with the three. Got it. Raptors are rolling. As Alvin mentioned, right, getting everything inside now softens it up, and the three is there. Niang, three-pointer. Philadelphia team didn't take a ton of threes last year compared to the majority of the league. And another clock situation as OG and Fred are at the table to check in.
You said it, Matt. Getting in that paint, getting their feet in the red, finding open men. The Sixers are a team that's going to try to defend that paint. That's going to allow you to have more perimeter shooting if you get in there early on.
Maxey, what a nice move by Maxey. Raptors, 9 made field goals, 9 dimes. Here's Achua, back shot. Talked about that skill set, right? Comes in like just a fundamental. Boom, banks it off of the glass.
Right off the glass.
6:44 on the clock up top. Here's Drummond, guarded by Achua. Leaves it now for Maxey at the foul line. Step back, Achua able to handle that. Drummond on the inside, unable to bat it in. And Champagnie now. Banton and Alvin's waving him. Let's go, push it. And on the inside, just a little bit of a hesitation.
Can't hesitate. Got to get right to the action.
Curry over to Maxey. Drummond. And just powering his way in.
There was no hesitation there. The NBA is so different because if you hesitate for a split second, that play is no longer there. So if you can't make that pass in that split second, don't try it because it's going to be a turnover.
52-35. Here's Achua. Oh! Precious stepping outside and knocking down the three. Raptors have made 7 threes on 13 attempts.
Matt, we mentioned he's not just a hustle athletic guy. He has a skill set that is very much underrated, and he's going to get an opportunity. It's all about opportunity. So once you get the opportunity that he may not have gotten in Miami, you see right here, you might say, roll to the basket, get an alley-oop. No, I'm going to step back, take a dribble and step back a little further and knock this 3-ball down.
You see Andre Drummond's face like, really, you're going to step back and do that?
No one knows yet. I'm telling you, the players are going to be the first ones to find out, as you see a shooter right there that we all know can shoot.
Seth Curry, veteran out of Duke, started at Liberty University. Joe, the turnover, and the other way, Tyrese Maxey. Isaiah Joe with
There you go.
Steal.
You give it up, let somebody, when these guys come in and harass you, give it up, let somebody else bring it up.
Here's Achua attacking. Drummond got a piece of it. Curry quickly into the front court. And a three-pointer, and feeling the rhythm there, cutting into the lead. It's 55-43. The Raptors led by as many as 20. It's an 8-0 run now by Philadelphia.
And you feel the energy dropping off a little bit. Sixers energy picking up. But that's typically what happens in the preseason. Lineup changes happen a lot. Different people come in. Raptors got to stick to the script, though.
Yeah, that's a great point. As Maxi's shot doesn't go. Here's Achua with a rebound. Gets it down to Fred. Fred into the front court. Cut off by Curry. Spin dribble and a reach-in foul. And a foul on Curry. With 4:31 left here in the first half of preseason game number 1. Raptors will head out on the road. And they'll have one more. They'll play 4 on the road, and then they'll have 1 to wrap up preseason here at home before the start of the regular season. Mykhailiuk at the foul line. Here's Van Vliet with the 3. And it doesn't go. Drummond with a rebound.
We're going to expect to see a lot from Mykhailiuk because what he does, he can score the basketball. He can handle the basketball. He's a very good player as well that's going to help this Raptors team.
Can shoot the 3. Curry takes it away. Cut off by Achua. Good job along the end line. Maxey gives it now to Drummond. Maxey dribbles it back out. He's going to have to deal with the length of Banton. Banton just staying right there and stays down, too. And that leads to this. OG over to Banton. Here's a 3-point look underneath. Oh, Achua, the slam dunk.
And that, when you saw me waving last time, I was waving for Steve to do the same thing because to run the floor, stretch the defense, that's going to make people come out to him, leave the basket, the paint wide open. As he mentioned, he did a great job that time doing so.
And that pump fake, and then as he looked, there it was underneath the bucket. And Niang with the basket. Raptors lead 57-45. And deflected out of bounds. 3:13 remaining here in this first half. Timeout on the floor. 3:13 remaining in the second quarter. The save, Banton.
Over the weekend, the Raptors took their open practice west, just about a 2-hour drive to London, Ontario, and the location was very intentional. The London community is still very much devastated from the tragic hate crime that took place back on June 6th. So the Raptors Vice President of Organizational Culture and Inclusion, John Wiggins, who led this operation, knew that issuing a statement wasn't enough. They wanted some boots on the ground. Nick Nurse, he echoed those sentiments addressing the crowd. Guys, I was there, and the first thing he said was, no matter your color, race, gender, or religion, all are welcome to Raptors Nation.
No doubt about that. And Raptors have been sensational, as we know, in taking a stance. And they continue to do so. Curry turns a corner. He'll find Joe, and a 3-pointer is good.
Both teams ran the exact type of action. Little pick and roll. Weak side had to pay attention to the man diving. Left a wide open weak side 3-pointer.
OG doubled, finds Van Vliet quickly. Dragic, the open 3, no. OG on the offensive glass.
And we can't forget about the OG and his athleticism and what he made his bones on doing, being a defensive, athletic hustle player. Now he's an offensive all-around threat.
In his 5th season already is OG Anunoby. Curry on the inside. Continues to work on that game, and you see it all coming together. There were so many great flashes last season. Van Vliet, jumper doesn't go. The runner actually off of the glass. Raptors lead by a dozen. Under 2 minutes left in the first half. Drummond, they'll swing it. Maxey now. Curry. Van Vliet there in the paint with a left.
Curry, slick move. He throws one out with a pass with the right hand, brought it right back to the left.
10-point game. And a foul on Curry. Raptors their largest lead, 20.
When you start seeing that the older players look just poise, keep his pace, had, you know, the defense trying to figure out what he's going to do. Precious couldn't even leave his feet because he was uncertain about where he was going to go with the ball. A shifty move by the young veteran. I call him the young veteran because he's the youngest of the two brothers.
Seth Curry, one of the top scorers at Liberty University, and then went to Duke, played for Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski there, and really had to fight hard to stay in the league, make rosters. He was able to do that, and he's put together a great stretch. Here's Milton. And Svi with the rebound. No look underneath OG, and a good job there, deep post position.
Svi did a great job keeping his eyes up, and as soon as OG got the advantage, he gave him a pass right on the money, right on time, allowed OG go straight up for a layup.
Joel Embiid not playing tonight, no Tobias Harris, and blown coverage as Joe gets the bucket. And of course, no Ben Simmons. Here's Svi on a pull-up three, that's good. Ben Simmons not in training camp, not reporting. See how that goes. Milton, and deflected, out of bounds, and last touch by Philadelphia, actually. Raptors lead 67-54.
Although the team with the length lineup isn't in, it's still hard to find those players. Freddie with a little short shot right there. I'm sure he wants it back. It's preseason, right?
Yeah.
It's preseason, man.
The feel, the rhythm, Achua nearly saved it, but taken by Curry. Slight difference, game clock, shot clock. Raptors lead 67-54. Drummond comes up, sets a screen, Svi, and a kick ball. And it's going to be Philly ball with 7.9. Some good ball pressure there. Raptors have a foul to give with 7.9 remaining in the second quarter. Joe inbounds it, Curry. And there's the foul to give. 5.9.
I'm gonna confess. Can I have a confession?
Yeah.
I get confused about fouls to give sometimes. Like sometimes you don't have to give the foul, but
you give it anyway?
Yeah, you give it anyway, and you still give up a shot.
Here's Thybulle, corner three.
I got to sit down with the coaches.
We got. We'll work on that.
Yeah, I mean, I got to educate myself as well.
Foul to give, they gave it, and then at the end, shot didn't go. Scotty Barnes in the building. Great for everybody to be in the building here on this Monday night. First game of a 6-game preseason slate for the Raptors. Brad, after this, go back to that first half, and Svi Mykhailiuk really did an excellent job for the Toronto Raptors in a lot of different ways offensively.
I loved his poise, but I also loved his aggression. He knew where the shots were coming from. He knew how to get his shots. So it's just one of those things. Not only was he scoring the ball, he was finding people. He had the opportunity to have his eyes up, showed his passing ability, the scoring ability, the hustle, the putback, pulling up in transition. He's knowing, you can tell he has a veteran side that knows how to get his offense and how to get his game generated. Great job. He's somebody that the Raptors is going to be very valuable for the Raptors this season.
4 or 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from three-point range. Also had 5 assists, did Svi, and you can see, I mean, remember, you know, a night like tonight, yes, it's preseason, but you don't have Pascal Siakam and Gary Trent Jr. and Ken Birch and Chris Boucher. You know, there is depth on this roster for sure.
And that's something that, once again, we use the words valuable, because when injuries, the inevitable injuries come about, and we know the uncertainties over the past months, having a deep roster is something that's very beneficial.
Drummond with the steal, Achua, the two-handed monster slam on the feed from Barnes.
It's just extra hustle, another save by Barnes. Achua ready to take it home, slam it home.
Thybulle sends it over to Drummond. Drummond And it's off of the leg. A Thibault scoop back up by Drummond. Shot doesn't go, and Dragic and batted around and away, and it's going to be Toronto basketball.
And this is what you want to see from your young fellas. Recovering, didn't give up on a shot block. Saved the ball, found Precious cutting to the basket. The young players are really stepping up.
9 points, 5 rebounds. OG mishandles. Niang and a turnover. Here's OG. Anunoby driving, denied. Barnes. And it's knocked away, scooped up now by Dragic. And Dragic lines up a three. Got it.
Once again, off of your defense, off of your hustle plays. One thing Scotty took for granted, that layup. You got to go in there and finish it. Young fella, you got to do that. This is the NBA. Can't take any plays for granted.
Achua. And the help comes OG. And Drummond loses it. Van Vliet up top. Scotty backs it in. Timeout, Doc Rivers.
Good job by Freddie finding Scotty Barnes. Once again, off of transition, off of your defense, making these plays happen. If the offense is going to struggle, let's get it off of defense, get it on transition, give it to your other guard. You find a young fella running home, finish it.
Welcome back to Scotiabank Arena. I spoke with Raptors assistant coach and new face Trevor Gleason at halftime and asked him especially about that 39-point second quarter. And he said it was all about the energy that young core brought into the game. He was really impressed, and particularly the speed that they bring. It's a lot of aggressive defense. We're seeing it early in this half as well. It leads to opportunities. Matt?
Trevor Gleason, coming from Australia, had so much success there. And Anunoby. Great job by OG Anunoby off of the turnover.
And I like that right there. You saw the double team. Raptors made an adjustment, double teaming Andre Drummond.
And the bucket is good.
Look who Scotty Barnes guarding. Scotty Barnes guarding the point guard. He's guarding multiple positions.
Spinning. Here's Joe. And the shot doesn't go. OG Anunoby with Dragic, Van Vliet, Precious, Scotty. Right, the ability to guard multiple positions, so key.
And that's when you're taking that draft pick, when you're making a fourth pick, these are the things that you consider. Not a lot of players are going to be able to do that in the draft and the NBA overall. There's only a few players that can guard 5 positions on that floor. And Scotty Barnes has the potential to be that type of player.
78-54 with 9:10 to go in the third. Raptors rolling here early in the third. Maxey and just forces his way inside in a delay of game. And now a technical. I think that's the second. Yeah. Doc Rivers. Having an extended conversation with Nick Booker and Fred Van Vliet at the free throw line. There's Trevor Gleason right next to Pascal Siakam alongside Earl Watson.
Earl Watson was a dog. Played against him a few times, man. And tenacious. Oh my goodness. Quiet. But when I tell you an assassin, great player.
Going up. And Barnes and a foul. Earl Watson, former head coach of the Phoenix Suns. Spent 13 years at the NBA as a player, played at UCLA. He has spent time as a player development coach, and he has certainly been somebody that, when you think back to the players And then the influence of coaches that you played for. He played for UB Brown on a team that went from 28 wins to 50 wins. And played for Jerry Sloan. And there's a lot to give. And Nick Nurse very high on the addition of Earl Watson. Turnover. Here's Achua gliding. Lays it up and through.
Skill set underrated. He's showing tonight exactly what he can do. Coast to coast, the three-point shot, making passes along with the hustle.
14-2 run here in the third. It's 81-56. And Maxey able to get to the rim.
Backdoor play, great play. Stop moving. Never stop moving without the ball. Backdoor cut. That's the principle.
Barnes. And he is fouled by Thibault. And how about Precious Achua? You mentioned this earlier. You were at the training camp last week, and you're like, Matt, watch Precious. Look at this end to end.
Showing physicality, taking the bump, and finishing. There's so many players that, you know, they're in one situation and they not pan out, but they go into another situation and they just show and they flourish and they learn, they get the opportunity. The NBA, a lot of times, like in life, but the NBA is about opportunity. There's so many players that may not get the opportunity, whether it's the roster, whether it's contracts, but he's going to get an opportunity to show what he has.
OG Anunoby, yeah, well said, as OG heads to the line and the foul on Thibault. And the first free throw is good. The NHL preseason continues with the Seattle Kraken and the Vancouver Canucks tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now. OG's second free throw good, and we've seen him become more consistent with that. And last season, 78% from the free throw line, 83-78. Toronto on top. Milton guarded tightly by Fred VanVleet. They'll kick it over to Maxey. Ball fake now in the paint. Dumps it off and it ends up getting out to Korkmaz. Drummond. Maxey doesn't go into Barnes. It's a good read by Drummond. Open. Maxey in the corner, unable to knock down that shot.
Drummond has made a couple passes, nice passes, finding the opposite side.
OG with the three.
That ball handle draw you to sleep a little bit. Rocky, my buddy Chauncey Billups, coach for Portland Trailblazers, used to say, let me rock you to sleep for a little bit and pull up on you, wake you up.
I think there's a little bit of that right there, wasn't there, with OG?
Yeah, exactly. That's what brought it to my attention.
Here it is. Break out the rocking chair.
There it is. Sit here. Let me rock you to sleep. Let me rock you to sleep. Good night. Rock you to sleep. Rock you to sleep. Wake up. Wake up. There you go. There you go. Great play by OG. One-on-one.
If you get that going, watch out, right? Drummond. And VanVleet takes it away. Ahead now to Scotty Barnes. With the finish, and the Raptors 88-58, up 30. Remember, they trailed in the opening quarter 21-10.
And the young group, they brought them back in, got them fighting, got the energy back up, and they never looked back.
Thibault gives it now. Korkmaz, the three doesn't go. Korkmaz, no. Drummond on the offensive glass, a veteran in his 10th year in the NBA. 28 years of age. Banton will check in along with Malachi Flynn. Malachi is yet to play this evening. There's Thibault right to the bucket. And a timeout taken by Fred VanVleet. It's 88-62. The Toronto Raptors got their defense going, leading to offense. Shooting 57% from the field. Tonight's Fan Angle brought to you by Tangerine Bank. To learn more about how Tangerine can help you make smart decisions with your money, go to tangerine.ca. Great to see all the Raptor fans checking out tonight's broadcast on Sportsnet. Big smiles. Basketball is back in Toronto, which means, yes, the super fan is back. It was great to see Nav and all the fans here in attendance. Raptors up big here in their first preseason game. Malachi Flynn in for the first time. Van Vliet, guarded by Milton. Screen set by Achua. Up top, bats it. Doesn't control it. Van Vliet on the weak side.
Little man stayed in there. Nice reaction time through the lob. Getting the loose ball, finishing with the layup.
Flynn and Maxey just runs right over Van Vliet, and they foul. And the Raptors get the ball back. It's 90-62 Toronto.
That's when you take advantage, when you have somebody that can jump, just throw anything up there. I know I used to throw the Vince like that. I just close my eyes and just throw it up there. But he got lucky. It came back to him. He got the layup.
Vince, it didn't matter where you were on the floor. He just, right?
I would throw the worst passes, and he would make it look like the best passes.
It was all part of the highlight as OG lays it up and through. Torkmas. Banton in his stance. Tangled up a little bit, and Reed.
So you saw that play developing, lack of communication, got switched up, ran into your own player, gave up the layup.
Flynn with it. Raptors up 92-64. Van Vliet sends it now. Here's OG.
That's the matchup you want.
And I believe another clock issue, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm saying no sub. 4:40 and 5 on the shot clock. Let's see if it's 4:40, 10 on the clock then. Nope, down to 5. Just took a little bit of time. First game here since February 28th of 2020. Getting the clock sorted out. Here's Malachi and an air ball with that clock down. And so a shot clock violation, then he'll head the other way. Then Riller checks in. Grant Riller in his second season out of the College of Charleston. And Maxey's going to check out. This is a Philadelphia team that a season ago had the best record in the Eastern Conference, 49-23, but yet lost to Atlanta in Game 7. They had to force a Game 7 by winning in the ATL in Game 6. Reed on the inside. Oh, Precious Achua with another block save perfectly by Fred VanVleet.
This is where you try to get your offense in transition. Sixers doing a great job getting back on defense.
And Thibault. And then Banton knocks it away. And they're going to call a foul on Banton. And Fred's going to check out.
You see Precious getting in front of it. Hands, deflections, block shots. It's everything you want out of a defensive possession. Great save. But then guess what? It's not over. Banton has to come back. Still never gives up on a play. So it's 2 great defensive possessions and two out of 2 possessions. So great job by the Toronto Raptors. That's a culture. That's identity. And these young players, the older players mix, they're creating a heck of an identity on the defensive side.
That's something that for Nick Nurse, as we know, so important, right? To instill everything that he wants to do from a defensive standpoint. And a little bit different from your training camp days with respect to the importance of one side of the ball compared to another, or even later on watching other organizations and what they do during the training camp. And of course, there weren't 2-a-days, right? Or there's not 2-a-days now. There were back in your day. So there's a lot more stuff going on, right?
Yeah, it was 2-a-days for us. And then training camp lasted about 3 weeks. So there's a little different mentality.
Gamble right there. OG Gamble gave up that corner three. If you go for the steal, you got to get the steal. Sixers did a good job keeping the head up, finding an open man.
OG with a dozen here in the quarter. Raptors up 95-69. And that pass deflected. Achua. And it's lost out of bounds, and it's going to be Philadelphia basketball. 5-hole, Korkmaz, Milton, Reed, and Riller on the floor. Achua checks out, but Achua with 13 points, 8 rebounds, 25 minutes of action, as well as a couple of block shots as well.
And a ball of effort. That effort magnifies everything else.
And Korkmaz attacking Gillespie at a foul, and he'll go to the line. Freddie picks up his third.
And you start seeing Korkmaz, he's penetrating. We know he's aggressive offensively, getting into that paint. We've talked about it earlier. The more you can get in that paint, you're going to create more opportunities. First quarter, the Raptors did not do a good job protecting the paint, stopping the ball from being scored in the paint. They went on a run by creating their own presence in the paint. So defensively, you're still going to have to keep it up by keeping the ball on the perimeter and contesting all shots.
It's like Drummond after Drummond after Drummond on the inside. OG knocked out of bounds.
But the Raptors did a great job not having a knee-jerk reaction, trying to respond to Drummond. They stuck to the script, and then a new lineup came in and provided some of that energy that they needed from the previous lineup.
OG checks out with 21 points, 25 minutes of action, 7 of 12 from the field, was 3 of 3 from 3, including the rocket asleep, and then bam, wake up move. 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Banton sends it now to Flynn. And Reed reaches in with 5 of the shot clock. It'll be reset to 14 with 2:48 to go here in the third. And tonight's a little bit of everything that you want to see right after kind of that preseason start. A couple of turnovers, some missed shots. All of a sudden, defense gets engaged, creates some easy offense. And
you love it when your defense gets you back in the game, because offensively, sometimes you take it for granted and think that's always going to be there, and that's not the case. The Raptors got back in this game because of their defense.
Malachi turns a corner. Swish. With the three-pointer. Milton. Over to Reed also, too, as a veteran. A little bit different coming into a preseason game than being a younger player trying to either A, make an impression, or B, make a roster, or C, just try to find a way into a rotation spot.
Yeah, Malachi finding his way, moving without the ball, having his feet set, open for a three. And he's going to have a big training camp and big preseason because they're going to be looking at him as well. Freddie's probably not going to play as much as the preseason goes along. He's going to get more and more opportunities to show, and he's looked good in training camp. Aggressive, the shot was going in, that three-point shot. He's doing a good job. He's improving on that. But to your point, I play with players, preseason games, they pick up 3, 4, 5 quick fouls so they can sit down. Nobody was trying to play more than 10 minutes.
I know you didn't, though.
No, I didn't. I didn't have the opportunity to do that.
Banton on the inside, stays active with it. 173. Reed with it up top. Gillespie. And remember, there's still 3 roster spots out there for this team, and depth certainly important. About the Raptors already without 4 players.
You were reading my mind. I was just thinking the same. How do you decide? And it's a long way to go, of course, but how do you decide who you're going to keep, who's going to be in a rotation? It's a good problem to have right now.
It is, and you're also getting a look at some of the players with the 4 that are currently out, right? So you get a little bit of a read. You also have, something, last season, tough. You had, the G League bubble. Yes, it was close to Tampa. Malachi Flynn spent some time there, but Raptors, as we know, you think about having the 905 so close and the development model of that and the success that they've had with that. And the non-guaranteed contracts, they are Bonga, Decker, Perry, Gillespie, Watanabe, Wainwright, and Johnson and Champagnie on 2-way contracts. Remember, there's going to be 6 games here. Mentioned this earlier, Philadelphia not playing as many preseason games. A little bit different. Nick Nurse talked to him. He wanted those games, especially for the younger players.
It's important. The game experience, different scenarios, different lineups. When you're young, you got to keep in mind, all the other teams are watching you play as well. So anytime you get this opportunity, you got to take advantage of it.
Old post-up move. Shot doesn't go. Joe with it. And let's send it over to Amy Audibert. Amy?
Yeah, just a little bit more about what you guys are talking about. You got 5 or 6 guys really fighting for a couple spots, and Freddie VanVleet was very open about that conversation with us a couple days ago. He said, I'm in those guys' ears more than anyone else because I know what it's like to crack through. I know what it takes, and it's really hard to break through in the NBA. And then he lightened the conversation up and said, it's not necessarily fun, but sometimes it's funny watching these guys go so hard.
Yeah, it's funny now, right? But he had to go through all of that. And when you think about Fred and Pascal and growth of former Raptor Norman Powell, they embraced it.
Yeah.
And flourished and continue to flourish.
And the Raptors organization did a heck of a job developing, creating that standard of when you come to this team, no matter if you're drafted, you're not drafted, late, first, whatever it is, you have a responsibility and it's a standard you have to live up to.
Mykhailiuk, the open three doesn't go. Gillespie unable to grab the rebound. It's Milton with it. Raptors lead 174. Milton up top. Reed comes up to set a screen, and now Milton will say, all right, come on back up top. Corner three, good.
Malachi got completely lost. I'm not sure where he was going. You know, his corner was filled. He's supposed to stay home on that corner. He got beat.
Flynn, Mykhailiuk gathers, and Reed able to deny it, but the Raptors lead 177 through 3 quarters of their first preseason game.
Doing a great job, staying with it. The energy is there. You see pressures right here, taking it to the basket early in the 3rd quarter. The Raptors are doing a great job creating this culture of playing hard, athletic, and together, most importantly.
Back with Javon Shepherd and Brad Fay to talk about this guy. It is a preseason game, first one of the year, Javon. No one's going to be anointed an all-star by any stretch, but signs there that Raptor fans want to see that this guy's ready to take the next step.
And you know what? There's not much to break down there. It's his confidence. His confidence is sky high right now. He just understands how to use his body, his points of attack, and it's 5 years in. He knows where to pick his spots in Nick Nurse's offense, and he's playing to that. He's playing to his strengths. He's using his athleticism. He's using his shoulders to get into the meat of the defense and just creating offense for himself.
OG Anunoby with 21 to lead the Raptors, who lead by 23, heading for the 4th with Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams.
All right, Brad and Javon, it's so true. At his 5th year, you think about how his game continues to develop. Last season, OG Anunoby was tied for 9th in catch and shoot threes per game. Watanabe on the inside, no call. Right, so you have that corner three, right, runs to the corner, develop that over time. Rebound, get to the basket, handle improves, and now you add the rocking chair move.
Rock him to sleep.
Rock him to sleep.
But Javon said it. It's confidence.
Yeah.
And it's him knowing what Nick Nurse want to get out of him through the offense. And then now the confidence is there, the opportunity is there, and now the skill set takes over. And that's when you talk about those isolation plays and things like that. Javon hit it perfectly. It's the confidence where it starts.
And it's confidence is a fine line too, right?
It could be shaken. It could be shaken. I mean, these guys are pros. You know, it's that bravado you have, is that piece you walk around with a macho, but a coach can, your confidence can definitely waver here and there. And we've seen it to a lot of great players. But you can bounce back as well due to effort and hard work.
4 seconds, 3 seconds on the shot clock. Banton with it. He'll launch a three. And a shot clock violation. Raptors lead by 23, 10-52 remaining here in the 4th.
So this is a point where this lineup, you want to make sure your offense, the system, still works for you. You still don't want to go outside of the box. Work within the system, and that'll alleviate some of the pressures and struggles offensively that you may go through.
Grant Riller up top, clock down, attacking. Good job cradling and then getting to the bucket. Around length. Here's Flynn with it up top. Cut off. Utah takes a three and makes the three.
He's playing with a lot of confidence. You're using that C word he's been building up. He's got the opportunity. Great job by Flynn finding him, taking a shot.
10 points, 7 rebounds in 13 minutes of action. Drilling the open three. Raptors are 13 for 29 from beyond the arc. Francisco Giants in the NLDS. Tune in Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. The most decorated Canadian Olympic athlete of all time, Penny Elisiak here. 7 total medals. Enjoying it here on a Monday night. Basketball back in Toronto. Of course, Yuta Watanabe played in the Olympics, as did Precious Achua, and knocked away. And mentioned earlier about the Seattle Kraken in Vancouver as Banton looks to take it away from Springer. And a bucket and the foul, but mentioned the Kraken and the Canucks tomorrow night here on Sportsnet. And Jamie Elisiak, the defenseman with the Seattle Kraken, coming over from the Dallas Stars. 103-81 with 9:59 to go in the fourth. Shaq Harrison played last season for Utah and Denver, and he agreed to a training camp deal with Philadelphia. And Mihailuk's been impressive thus far. The Raptors knocking down some shots, getting rebounds, distributing, and just as I say that, dribbles it off of his leg. That ain't right.
He's been aggressive, but just poor timing right there. It always happens that way.
Oh, Springer.
Yeah. I was about to say, what did I miss? What did I miss?
That looked like me on the playground.
Yeah, Curly Neal Globetrotters or something like that.
He brought that all the way over top. Raptors 17 turnovers, Philadelphia 15.
And that's not a bad number for preseason.
Yeah.
It's not a bad number.
No, it's not that 25 to 30 that sometimes you might get. Flynn, shot doesn't go. Here's Harrison. Driller. Yeah, there's a turnover, the 16th now by Philadelphia, as the Raptors lead 103-81. There's been a lot of impressive, I know it's preseason, but a lot of impressive performances. Banton with a left. OG, Barnes, Achua, Mihailuk, Watanabe. Champagny with a three that doesn't go. And you could definitely see what the objective was in the offseason for the Raptors with respect to the length that they've added.
Yeah, and they did a great job. Now it's just continue to develop, that we know that will happen.
Yep.
And with the length, with the IQ, and the mixture of the veteran guys, it's going to be a pleasant sight.
Scotty Barnes is going to check in for Malachi Flynn. And here you go, 6'8" and 6'9". I tell you what, you'd actually fit right in at your size with this group. You know, 6'5" at that point. I do.
Well, how about the athleticism?
I think that'd be perfect too.
I'm not sure, but hey,
on.
man, thanks for the compliment.
6'8", 6'9". Length. Johnson checks in for the first time.
And he's a great player as well, coming out of Louisville. He's somebody that can get a bucket. He plays. He has a great understanding of the game. And he comes right in and shoots the ball. First time touching it. So
Champagny stays with it. And as you mentioned, David Johnson, just 20 years of age, spent 2 seasons at Louisville. And it's a second-round pick.
He's one of these guys that shows a lot of promise. Like, I've heard people say he could be the steal of the draft and all of those things. It's about, once again, that opportunity and still developing.
Only player in the ACC to rank in the top 25 in assists as well as rebounds. Give you a little bit of insight on, his game. Here's Banton pushing it. 4 minutes into the fourth. Up fake. Johnson spins. And too many steps.
So as you see it, I see your hand motion a little bit, right? It's like this group is in. Let's use the system. I mentioned it before. Let's pass the ball. When you're going against a defense one-on-one, especially without a pass on the ball, it's that much more difficult to get a good shot.
Riller attacking and gets right to the bucket. He's been able to do that a couple of times here. Banton quickly taken away by Joe. Joe's going to pull up in the 3, and it's good. And a timeout taken, 103-88. It was 7-43, a 9-0 run, and Nick Nurse ends it with that timeout.
Brought to you by Tangerine Bank, official bank of the Toronto Raptors and their fans.
I mean, I always say if we're going to play that much darn defense, we better get something out of it at the other end. And yeah, I think the length and stuff you should see times out there when it just looks like we're swarming and we're helping and we're tipping balls and trying to knock them loose. That's the goal.
And that's what they were able to do to turn this game around. They trailed 21-10, defense leading to offense.
And look, it's not going to be the answer every night. Teams going to be able to adjust. You're going to play against some great offensive players. That stuff doesn't bother them. But as a team, as a unit, if that's going to be your approach, that's something that's going to be very beneficial because it can make sure your offense doesn't have too much stress on it.
They're going to count the bucket of goaltending. Yeah, excellent point of me. Tonight you get 27 fast break points. You get into the paint. They've been very productive there. And then, as you mentioned earlier, it softens it up and you're stepping outside, and you've made 13 threes tonight as well. With Raptors 50 points in the paint. Joe guarded by the length of Barnes. Stays with Reed. Here's Springer. Joe. And the 3 is good, trying to draw contact. However, as we know, there was nothing overt, abrupt, or abnormal about that. That was a normal basketball play.
That was a textbook jump shot, straight up and straight down.
Barnes, and the putback is good. 107-91 to Monty McCutcheon. Appreciate the officials, obviously, spending some time with the broadcasters last week, looking at a lot of different plays. And the jumper is good for Jaden Springer out of Tennessee, the rookie. Bonga and Flynn come to the table for the Toronto Raptors. David Johnson, Banton here's Utah. Jumper doesn't go. Hustle play by Champagnie and then knocked out of bounds. And Bonga is going to check in for Bonga for Banton. Here are the non-basketball moves. Shooter launches or leans into defender at abnormal angle. Offensive player abruptly veers off his path into a defender. Shooter kicks his leg out. An offensive player off arm hooks defender, right? So a lot of this is actually something that the coaches, nice job by David Johnson, something the coaches have talked about a lot, right? There's been so much offense And then from a defensive standpoint, hey, you know, there's some things here we got to maybe take a look at, that these offensive players are getting almost too much of an advantage.
And they do. And you're talking to somebody who's got scorched for 54 points, 60 points, and all that. So I wish some of these defensive advantages were back when I played, but you only had to rely on physicality. But you think about it, when you're a kid, you're not working on individual defense. You're working on all individual offense, and how can I get an advantage? And some of these players, they're learning how to kick their legs out. They're learning how to use the defense against them to get opportunities. So it's good to see the NBA trying to make some changes to give some defenses, you know, an opportunity to be successful.
Yeah, look at the offense. You're going to see that in, you know, the scissor kick, right, by an offensive player trying to draw a foul. Here's Flynn with the three, and Malachi rattles it in.
He's really improved on his jump shooting. He had that three-point shot. Watching him in training camp for a few days, he's shooting with confidence, rhythm, and you see the result.
Bonga on a reach in.
Just the opportunity. Nice swing by Johnson. Having your feet set, ready to let it fly. Good job by Malachi.
Malachi last season wore number 8. And he switched to 22. Patrick McCall wore 22 a season ago, wore 22 at San Diego State. As Joe is at the line. Go back to that familiar number.
You know, some numbers, like, that's a fit. He looks like a number 22. Like, some players don't look like their number, but he looks like a 22.
5:24. Started with 8, moved to 22. And one of the reasons why Goran Dragic wore and is wearing the number 1, not touching his usual number 7 because of Kyle Lowry. That number is going to be in the rafters here at Scotiabank Arena one day, and a statue out front for sure. Bonga right to the rim. You were watching tape on Bonga last night. Did you see that?
I was scouting him. I saw him do some tricky things handling the basketball, and he can do that. He's truly a point guard. He may have to play point forward because of his size, but you see him right here getting the ball to the paint, finishing with the left-hand layup. Great job.
We were talking about Bison. I was watching. And Joel Embiid and the Sixers losing in 7 games. Embiid in that 7th game at 31 points, 16 rebounds. But I think most people kind of remember the Ben Simmons, right, and being under the basket and not even attempting a shot, and obviously a lot said after that series, and Simmons right now holding out. Corner 3, and it's good. Champagnie, Raptors lead. 4:15 to go. 117-97.
You see Bonga's passing ability there as well. We saw the ball handling, but his passing ability, finding him in the post all the way cross court for a corner 3. He has some guard skills.
Turned pro in Germany at the age of 16. His father immigrating to Germany. I was reading where he had plans to leave Germany and come to Canada. Ultimately decided to stay in Germany. Champagnie finishes, but Bonga at the age of 16 turned pro. He's only 21 years of age, and a tough angle, tough shot that time for Shaq Harrison.
I'll tell you, these Sixers guards is maybe not be on the roster. They have some guards that can go and put the ball on the floor and make some things happen.
Wainwright along with Gillespie and Decker waiting to check in with 3:10 left here in the 4th. Barnes in the pass. Taken away. And knocked away, loose ball. And Scotty Barnes has it ripped away by Reed. And Barnes stays with it and takes it away.
Barnes is showing his ability. This is what I want you to do. Go straight to the basket.
That's a great setup by Barnes. Defender wasn't getting back, said, all right, I'm going to put on the Jets.
Straight line drive. Don't mess around with it. Straight line drive.
Riller to the bucket. And comes up limping as he turned an ankle in a timeout with 2:37 left here in the fourth quarter. The Raptors lead by 18, 119-101. And Scotty Barnes, how about this line? 13 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists.
And the other thing, just bringing your identity to the team. Your length, and you see him right here. Patience, showboating a little bit, and now what? Beep, beep, I'm going to take off. You're not paying attention. I'm going to create something for my teammate. Unfortunately, the shot didn't go in, but those are the plays that he can make for you. Straight line drive, straight line drive. Use your athleticism, use your length, use your speed and ability to get where you want to get to on the floor, and now you create for others.
With the Raptors last year based in Tampa, and what a great preseason stat line for Scotty Barnes. It's about a 4-hour plus drive from Tampa to Tallahassee, and Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster got very familiar with that drive up to Tallahassee, where of course Scotty Barnes played for Leonard Hamilton and Florida State Seminoles, and you just see him, and you can see why he was taken 4th overall in the draft. The length and that stat line may be something that you ultimately kind of become familiar with, right? 13 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Not like you're in the huddle drawing it all up for you. It's all off of the play, Alvin.
Possibility, you're right. And that's the classic piece when you don't have to draw anything up for someone. And I'm going to tell you what else was important by him being drafted number 4. I've talked to some of his coaches and people from Tallahassee. His personality is something that you can't undermine. That brings so much value when you're creating a culture, when you have a team and somebody part of a franchise. You want that personality as well if he's your 4th pick.
Sam Decker with a bucket. Spent last season playing in Turkey. Shot 45% there from 3. Played at the University of Wisconsin for legendary Bo Ryan. Went to the title game in 2015.
That was a heck of a team.
Yes, it was. Gillespie also on the court, as is Wainwright. Here's Joe with a 3-pointer that is good. Here's Bill Wainwright. And it's 121-104. Johnson. And Wainwright gives it up. Here's Bonga. Bonga puts it on the deck, drives, finds Johnson. And Decker bats it back to Johnson. Bonga with a clock down. He's going to go to work with 4, looking for Gillespie. He's going to turn and fire. Shot doesn't go on the weak side, and a loose ball foul is going to go the other way.
Wainwright a little aggressive trying to get that rebound.
It's that football.
Look at his shoulder.
Football. It's the football.
I'm not messing with him. I'll tell you that much. Good play, fella. I'm going to do anything you do. Good play.
He played football at Baylor as a tight end. Had a tryout with the Bills. Went back to basketball. How about that? Football, basketball.
Just do whatever you want. He must be special. You know what? You're bringing up all these things. I remember playing against a football player that ended my my college career, Tony Gonzalez at Cal.
Really?
Yeah, they knocked us out of the tournament. I found out that he was a top football player. I'm like, yeah, that kid can play basketball. He's a football player. Knocked me out. Ended my college career. Him and an old Raptor, Michael Yogi Stewart.
Yes.
Michael Stewart.
Decker driving. Wainwright playing for the Baylor Bears as Harrison drives. And Tony Gonzalez, of course, tremendous tight end. As you mentioned, dual sport athlete. There's been a few of those through the years, but rare.
It is. When you think about the commitment and the sacrifice and everything you have to put into one sport to try to become a professional athlete, and you be able to do that for multiple sports, that's a special talent.
No question about it. Here's Johnson. He'll bring it across midcourt. Under a minute to go here in the first preseason game. Great to be back courtside and with you, Alvin, as Gillespie has a slam dunk, and great to look around and see fans in the stands and the Raptors on this court. After the bubble and a season in Tampa, preseason or not, it's just great to be back. Here's Bonga. Leaves it for Wainwright. And the three doesn't go. Gillespie on the glass. Bonga. And it's going to be a foul on Gillespie with 27.9 left here. And a foul on Gillespie. 7 minutes of action. I believe that's going to be his 4th foul. And it's going to be a bonus situation. Some of the things that you saw tonight that you'll like, because this is kind of the progression, right? You have training camp day 1. Raptors are going to head out onto the road for some preseason action. But what did you see tonight, Alvin? You say, you know what, okay, it's a good place to start in preseason game 1.
I love the versatility that the team showed. Different lineups. Players that has similar skill sets, they were able to play alongside each other. A lot of times you can't find that chemistry. There were groups out there that really played well together. And then I'm excited to see the rest of the players, the veteran mixture and the young fellas. I think it's going to be an exciting season.
And then obviously with the knowledge of knowing Pascal, right, it's going to be a little bit of time with the shoulder, and Chris Boucher, dislocated finger, and Kem Birch. We look forward to seeing Kem and Gary Trent Jr. take the court here in Toronto as well. And headed your way, in my way.
Got good hands right there, huh? He's ready.
I did. You know what? Here's the thing. I got a little bit nervous because if I fumbled, I knew you were going to give me that look. Yeah, you were.
That's game 13, not preseason. It's preseason for everyone.
123-107. The Raptors win, and fans on their feet. Great to be back at Scotiabank Arena. And great to have the Raptors back in Toronto, as the Raptors were led by OG Anunoby with 21. Scotty Barnes, a rookie, 13. Precious Achiuwa with 13. Mihailuk 13, and Watanabe with 10. And Champagnie leading the bench with 17 points.
It was a great effort. It was a great effort by everyone. Everyone's playing together. And this is a beautiful time because, once again, we talked about some players may not ever get a chance to play again. So this is something you can't take it for granted. Continue to build from this and move forward into the second preseason game.
Chris Boucher and Danny Green catching up. Scotty Barnes making his way over to Amy Audibert as the Toronto Raptors take care of business here in preseason game number 1. 4th season for Nick Nurse, and 4 players that have played here in Toronto. So a lot of new faces, including the 4th overall pick and Scotty Barnes, as we send it over to Amy.
Scotty, you just played your first NBA game. This crowd's going to get bigger and louder. But how did you feel out there tonight?
I would just say I felt great. It felt amazing to be back on the court. Just keep learning chemistry with the players, working on our sets, playing defense, and doing things like that. It feels great to be out here.
Let's talk about the 29 points in transition. The Raptors like to get out and run, but what's your biggest strength in the open court?
Just getting out, just being versatile, being able to pass the ball, being an assist, being a big target, being able to finish. I would just say that works in our favor with this team. We got so many guys that can push the ball in transition. So it's just we need to get out in transition. We got so many fresh young legs as well.
Well, 34 assists for your guys tonight, and these first-year players were on either end of a lot of those. So as you're playing with them, or as you're sitting on the bench watching, what's going through your mind in terms of potential of this new group and where you can go?
We're just going to take it step by step. We're going to get better each and every day. We still learn each other as a team, learn how to play with each other. So we're just taking it step by step, one step at a time.
Well, Scotty, the step tonight was your first win in a Raptors jersey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Looking forward to more. Danielle will go up to you.
For sure.
Well, you heard Amy mention the assists, and of course, Fred VanVleet entered the arena to support your homies hoodie, and we saw that all night with this group. Scotty Barnes bringing it, the young guy's length and athleticism on full display. And hey, OG with 21 points, and basketball back in Toronto for the first time in a long time. So all good vibes in this preseason win over Philadelphia. For now, we'll get you back to Sportsnet Central with Ken and Ivanka.